What's up out there? We are back with some more Path of Exile Affliction League solo self-found. So this is my Bone Shatter build, and I got up enough orbs of fusing. This took a while to collect up enough, and I kept having to sell off other currency to get to the point to get it. I needed like 1,500 of them, or I think it was 1,500. It took a lot, but I now 6-linked. I basically just took the chest piece that I had, 6-linked it. This is not necessarily the best chest piece in the world to put a 6-link on, but it's the chest piece that I've been running, and it's doing fairly well. So I 6-linked this. I've got melee phys damage support into this, along with the Brutality, Ruthless, and Fortify. Close combat. This is what was supposed to be with the Bone Shatter build that I'm following. So I finally got that 6-linked. I don't think I made any other changes to anything. So I think that's kind of where we are with all of this right now. So this thing's, I don't know what DPS and all that is. Everybody keeps telling me to go follow the POB and everything. I have yet to bring this out and look at it in POB. I've been working on the Perforate build a little bit, but I wanted to do a little bit of, let's see here. I guess we'll go down here. So I am at 269 depth. In the last league, I made it down to 199, and that was pretty much where my cap was. I just looked, it says 199. I don't know that I went any further than that. Like, I don't know if it transferred all of my progress over exactly like it was supposed to. But I was at 199 according to what I just looked at, and I'm now at 269 here. I am cruising right along to level 300. This does not feel bad at all. I ran this a bunch the other day. I've just been basically straight nosediving down into here. Guess we can just go down in this hole. So I've just been, nope, don't want that. Basically just been nosediving right down into as far as I can go. Why can't we get in here? Let's see here. Is this one we stand? So I just started getting these places here. Like the ones that I'm used to down here, it's all in the dark and you didn't really get to stand on anything to open a platform up. These are kind of new. I haven't seen those before, where it actually lights up the room when you stand on it. I'm used to just being in the dark. Whatever. Well, they might have a little lit area in there somewhere, but for the most part, it's usually dark. I don't know if that's like the depth that I'm at is started to change some of the things that I'm getting. I'm not sure, but a bunch of garbage. Nothing that I really want. I don't think I want any of this stuff anyway. Nah, I don't want any of that. Go over here. We get to the other one. Is there a light thing in here? Yeah. So like if you stand on this little pad for a little bit, it starts lighting up the whole area. More monsters spawn. It gets kind of nasty down here. Let's see here. Get some stuff picked up. Go grab this thing. But yeah, this build is going fantastic. Like I have zero complaints. Man, I'm going to be loaded up with gear. Am I going to be able to haul this? I've been yanking all those things that I find just because I can sell those off and get the fusings from them if I trade those in. Gets to be a lot to carry. I probably don't want to grab all this, but we're going to make way with all this and get out of here. Don't need to be in here anymore. Let's get out of here. Take this back and sell all that off. Get rid of it all. But like that's level 269, and I'm having zero issues at that depth. So I killed a couple of bosses. I don't think I've killed any of the big bosses yet. I know there's like I think there's 3 main bosses in Delve. I don't think I've killed those. I think I might have killed like a couple of sub bosses. They don't necessarily feel like they don't necessarily feel like the Maven or anything like that, but I have fought a couple of things down there. I got this thing the other day. I don't remember where I got this. A Sacred Orb. I don't know where it dropped. I don't even know what to use it for. I don't think I've ever seen this. I don't think it's anything special or spectacular necessarily. I mean, it says it randomizes the numeric values of base defenses on an armor. So I'm going to guess it just kind of messes with, whatever the bottom dollar stuff is. I don't know that I'll use it because I only have one of them and I don't know what it does. If I had 2 or 3, I'd probably try one and see what it did. But yeah, that's about it. Oh, I guess I did go through and quality up some things. I went to run a lab the other day. My God, I hate running Labyrinth. This build really exacerbates the problems that I have with running labs. So I have to run a health. I have to run a life flask. I cannot do this without one. And then whatever whatever Labyrinth day was the other day, or whatever combination of things it was the other day, just sucked. And I didn't have enough life flasks. Everything was hitting me, and it was those little traps all over the place with the discs everywhere. Like, it's just all the traps. That's what, either the traps kill me or the end boss. I'll just die to him for something stupid once in a while. And I was actually going in there to quality all this stuff up, but I ended up burning off all my gem cutters and just qualitying up. Like, I had already qualityed up my Bone Shatter of Carnage. I did that one early on. And the support gems, you just, throw it in like you used to, and it's fine. But like, I can't do Ancestral War Chief yet. I did Berserk. I did Ancestral Cry. I think I did the ones that I thought were going to be Blood Rage, the ones that I thought were going to, and then Pride here. These were the ones that I thought would be most affected by quality, raising the quality. There was one of these I did quality on, and I don't remember which one it was, but it didn't really turn out to do a whole lot. I think it was maybe Pride or something like that. One of them just really didn't do, I guess it was Pride. So it upped the increased area of effect, but not the damage portion of it. So it was kind of whatever. But yeah, we're getting down there. I am cruising right along to totally just jarringly changing subjects back and forth. But I'm cruising down. My goal now is to try to hit 300 at least. I think we should be able to get into 300 and keep going down. I want to kind of branch out on some of these. Like, there's some fire items over here I wouldn't mind checking out. Breach, fossils, currency, talismans. We're starting to get some cool stuff in here. More cool stuff instead of more crap. I also need to run up my Azurite, which I'm getting close on being able to level that up. But that's kind of where we're at with Bone Shatter. I don't think I fought any bosses or anything. I think this is kind of what I've been doing, is just kind of going down and delve. I have worked on Perforate, so let's switch over to that. All right, so on the Perforate side of the house, I finally got smart. I think I was watching somebody's video and they mentioned going into PoE Ninja and looking around, and I thought, you know what, why am I not going into PoE Ninja and seeing what builds people are running with Perforate? And I actually found somebody with Perforate of Bloodshed, kind of similar to what I've got here. Well, how can I, kind of similar to what I had here, because I made a bunch of changes to it. I actually started following kind of what they did just to see how things go. For one, you'll notice I've not made any gear changes at all. The changes that I've made are all on the passive tree, and I went from 2,400 life up to 3,300. So a huge improvement in life just by renegotiating some of the passive stuff on here. For Karn's Bone Shatter build, basically what I did is followed Karn's Bone Shatter build and made some slight adjustments. Like, I went into dual wielding down here. I've gone into the bleeding mastery and stuff like that. And where he goes and picks up the two-handed melee weapons here, I'm going and picking up the single or dual wielding or just single-handed axes and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I adjusted things from what Karn had. Now, what this build is following somebody that is in SSF, this league with Perforate of Bloodshed, so they've got the same thing I've got. They actually came down on the other side of this. Karn comes down this side through attack speed and everything. This other person came down through the evasion, max life, increased fizz damage, stuff like that. They came down that side, and then they shoot off this direction to pick up this line. Now, Karn picks up this in his build, but he's coming off of, I think, this here to get that. Somewhere we come up into here. The other guy went into this because he was running a sword. He was running basically two different weapons. I don't remember where it's at, but somewhere on this tree is a node that gives you more point or more damage if you're wielding two different weapons. So you can't have like two axes. It's got to be like an axe and a mace or something like that. And he had like a sword and a mace or something. So once again, I had to kind of just massage this a little bit into what I've got, but he had more things picked up over here. He had nothing over in this direction. Like, Karn went over into, there's a spell suppression over here. There's accuracy over here. So that all gets dropped in favor of this vitality void node here, the courage node here. I think we already had Feller of Foes, maybe Forceful Skewering, but I think Swagger came up on this one. So instead of running Blade Barrier like I had it came over here to Swagger. So I picked that up, had to drop this point in armor and evasion and elemental resistances. This is basically the same. I think this is the same here, but then I had a stretch going around this way that got removed, and this all kind of got reassigned up into this direction like that. So some of this I already had picked up. It's just picked up in a different way. Some of it I added. I'd still like to get up here into the Savage Wounds. I kept this Bloodletting and the Crimson Dance. I think in the last video, somebody commented that I wanted to look at Crimson Dance. I don't think we've had this conversation since the last video. It's been a couple days in my mind. Now I'm back at work, so things are kind of getting off sideways. But I was on the Impaler, and they said, go look at Crimson Dance. So I looked it up, and I was like, oh, well, it's right there. So I pulled out an Impaler and put into that. And then when I was looking at this other build on PoE Ninja, I made all the rest of these changes. Now, whoever I was following on PoE Ninja, they came down here with totem damage. But the problem I noticed, that's great. That was good. It did a lot more damage, but the thing didn't live very long. What Karn did was came down on this side with increased totem life, and I ended up going back to that. Like I came over to this side for a second. The totems just didn't survive very long, so I went back to this. It sucked having to keep putting totems down. I would rather have those as a distraction. It's what I use totems for at this point. I mean, yeah, they can kill stuff and everything, and they do some damage, but I use them more as a distraction so that I can move around and start killing things. And, I'll drop my totems off and, let them do their thing. I also had Seismic Cry, and I pulled that off, so that freed up this War Cries keynote or keystone, whatever that is over there. And then the other big difference is that in Karn's build, nothing came up this direction here. And in this build, we're coming up this way. So they wanted me to pick up this jewel socket, the person had a jewel socket. So I went and looked at this, and I had this jewel socket. It's got 5% increased attack speed while dual wielding, which is perfect because I am dual wielding. 13% increased damage with one-handed weapons, which is great because I've got 2 one-handed weapons. Reduced effective shock and a little bit of fire and cold resistance. So that was the best jewel that I had, and I thought, yeah, I'll put that one in for now. And then we come up here. I think he picked up probably this Constitution node up here, and I think maybe 1 or 2 of these increased max life, and then came over here into spell suppression, evasion, and 30% increased evasion rating. So a little bit of spell suppression, not as much spell suppression as Karn had going on down here. I also think they came into this, or was it this? I think it might have been this Mage Bane. Dex provides no inherent bonus to evasion, +1 chance to suppress spell damage per 15 dexterity. So maybe that's where they're getting their spell suppression. And maybe I need to look at picking that up. So they didn't have that. So I think that's where but I still want to try to get over here and pick up Savage Wounds maybe, if I can do it, because this gives more chance for bleeding and more bleeding damage faster. Now on the actual, if I can make sure that all my buttons are clicked the correct way, I also looked at their skills, and they had changed their skills up slightly. So they were running Perforative Bloodshed, melee fizz damage support. They were running something different, but I like Swift Affliction. I actually went into POB, and you can put all 6. I don't have a 6 link on this, but I put all 6 in there just to compare it, and I check them off and on. But you can actually toggle whether the gem is being in effect or not. And so what I would do is stack up some other gems and then turn off the ones that I didn't want to try out, and then turn on the other ones, if that makes sense. So I would be looking at, say, Swift Affliction and Unbound Ailments or something like that. I think it's Unbound Ailments. So I was looking at using Unbound Ailments, and that looked promising. But then I looked at this person's build, and they had switched out to Ruthless and Multi-Strike, and I think Rage support. They were trying to generate Rage, and then they were using Berserk down here. I just didn't quite care for the Rage part of it. It didn't seem like it was doing a whole lot. With the Bone Shatter build I've got, Rage builds up fairly quickly and then is fairly useful with the Berserk. But with this, it kind of slowly comes up, and it just really wasn't getting where I wanted it to be. Now, maybe it's because I'm not following exactly but I'm not following every exact passive node that person has. And they were high 90s, so they've got this Perforate build fairly far. I mean, I can't knock them, but I'm not going for what they're going for. So I'm trying to meld some things in and see how they work. And this works much better. Having a lot more life, having 1,000 more life basically helps out a lot. But I was looking at what they had, and it looks like Swift Affliction is, oh, they had close combat support. This didn't look like it ticked the box up, or close combat support did not tick the box up as high as Swift Affliction did. Now, maybe that's because I'm going into more bleeding and this works better. I'm not sure, but that looked better. Ruthless looked okay. Chance to Bleed looked better than all the alternatives that I had. I ended up dropping that Rage and Berserk, the Rage support and Berserk. I didn't like it. Because I do have 6 sockets, I am able to load up multi-strike and level that up in the background, so that's going along fairly well. But I did make these changes here and get this a little more adapted. I don't know how good, bad, or indifferent it's going to be yet. But this person was also running Riposte, which I thought was a kind of a cool idea. So basically, when you block, you actually fire off an attack. And I thought this was kind of cool. I had some extra spots because I got rid of that other stuff. So I threw melee fizz damage and chance to bleed in here. I don't know. I'm assuming that helps out somewhere. Maybe we could throw something else in here like Maim or something. I don't know. Maim seems to be like a good option for throwing in here because then enemies maimed by supported skills take 10% increased fizz damage. So if these actually maim and work like I think they are, basically what I'm having is my Ancestral Protector and Ancestral War Chief. As they're out, they're dropping some maim on there along with faster attacks and, well, this one's got Ruthless. So those were the big changes here. Definitely seeing an improvement. Now, I say that, but I'm still dying. I am still level 83, and I was playing earlier. I got up about this far and died. So I'm kind of running into the same problem that I was running into with my Bone Shatter build, is that I'm doing well. I'm definitely doing better with it. But if I really try to push content, and yes, you just saw me load a plain white, no quality, or quality tier 1 map, because it seems to work fairly well. What I need to work on, there's a couple of things that I'd like to see better. Number one, movement speed. We're really slow. Even though I've got faster attacks, the leap slam is just a little bit slower than I'd like. I like the speed that my Bone Shatter build has. It's definitely got a lot better movement on it. And I would like to see the bleeding damage pushed a little further. If you get, like, I'm just destroying these things, that's fine. But if you get a good shot with it, you'll see them tick. You'll see the enemy's health bar just ticking down quickly. So like you can go off and do something else. Say you have to leave the area because they dropped an AoE or something, and you just need to get out of the way real fast. That bleed keeps going on them, and eventually finishes them off, or does some damage while you're not attending. While you're AFK from the fight. And the same thing with the totems. The one thing I'd like to get better on my totems is get a little bit of cast speed. I believe those are magic. All right, maybe they follow maybe they follow something different, because I know well, I have to look that. Because I know there's, mind throwing. I guess maybe I'm thinking of the mind throwing. I know there's different things for necessarily spells and totems, and there might be a totem placement. I kind of feel like there's a totem placement one. I feel like that's familiar. Yeah, I kind of feel like there is. But anyway, I'd like to have faster totem placement a little bit. I mean, it's fine. I don't know. If you're sitting there fighting, you have to kind of pay attention to, I don't always get them dropped as I wish. There's not really many rare monsters in here. Usually there's a bunch more of them. And we'll get a fight here. So I drop both my totems, come in here, and let's just start fighting this guy. I mean, his health just drops down. He's done. That's it. And that's what I'm looking for out of this build, is a good, solid single target. It's got a decent-ish clear. Like, it's not necessarily as good a clear as Bone Shatter, but you can see this thing just bleeding down. I mean, as I'm fighting it, I probably should hit it and walk away. Let me find a rare in here that I can just hit. What happens if I hit these guys? So they just start dying off, So the bleed's doing its job. It just needs to do its job a little bit better. Oh, and these things, these harbingers, this is where I die constantly. So I'll be standing in the middle of it and I just end up getting wrecked. But what I like to do on these is throw both totems down and let this thing go with my perforate and move around as needed. And this would be where I would like to see my quicker totem placement so that I can drop those and get out of danger if I have to. That's what I use the totems for, to distract enemies, is basically drop them in a crowd like that. And if I have to bail, because a lot of times I have to just get out of the totem range, or out of the harbinger range. It's not those smaller ones like that. It's those bigger ones that have just multiple creatures with it that get difficult. That's where I end up dying a lot. And you'll notice that when I drop in, it takes a second to actually kick off perforate. I need attack speed on this because I think that's what I've got on Bone Shatter. And when I drop, like I got a couple of things going for me on Bone Shatter. I've gone more into stun a little bit, so I try to make sure that I stun the enemies when I land on them. Boom. So they would be stunned, and any delay in my attack would not show up because they're stunned, you know what I mean? Then it picks up the attack a lot quicker and just starts doing work. Whereas this, they're not getting stunned necessarily. So the work that I'm trying to do, I guess we can go out the actual exit here. So the work that I'm trying to do with them has to start faster because they're not stunned and they come up and start attacking me. So with Bone Shatter, they're more likely to be stunned and I don't have to deal with the immediate attack. So anyway, made some I think some significant progress with this. So the cool thing is this is a build that's just not been done. And I mean, other people have done something similar. This is kind of my take on it. I don't know if it's a good take or not, but it's getting better. I will say that. I don't know that this is something that I would really use. I at the moment, I can't necessarily like recommend this and say, oh yeah, this is a great build. It's a cool build. I enjoy it, but it's not necessarily one that I want to, hey, this is the greatest build. You got to try it. I'm not at that point yet. But I do like this. I do want to work on it. I do want to get some more levels into this. I just need to get that done. What did I come over here for? So we've got 6,000 armor, 5,000 evasion. I probably need to change that over to get spell suppression because this spell suppression is way low. Resistances are not great. These are in the 90s. I definitely need to get lightning back up again. But this is where I'm going to have to start spending money on this. Spending my currency on this. I have a whole 24 fusings. I'm starting to build up the jeweler's orbs now, and I've got a piece of armor I'd like to try to 6-link or 5-link. I want to try to 5-link this, and there we go. So that was easy. I've been using every little of those trying to get this leveled up or connected up. So I should be able to swap this out. It's got a little bit more armor and evasion, and it's got a little bit of armor and evasion on it. The thing that it does, it's got less regen, so I'm losing a lot of regen, losing some fire resist, and stun and block recovery, and a little bit of reflect, and the ability to craft anything, because I can't craft anything onto it. So this is going to be, I don't know if this is an upgrade. I've just been trying to tinker with it and see where to get it. But that's what we've got for today. That's where we're at. I definitely need to work on the gear for this, but I want to actually get it playing and like going somewhere before I really sink currency into it. My Bone Shatter's in a good spot right now. Like I showed earlier, I'm going deeper into Delve and I'm really trying for that. So that's kind of what we got on the books. That's what I'm going to spend this week doing. Oh, and I guess I should point out, I did get tired of running Abyss because I did finally get my Stygian Vice for my Bone Shatter build, and I also still have, here's one that's item level 83, here's an 84, and a 70, so I've still got some left in the back. I've got a couple of Stygian Vices, so if I wanted to mess around with one on the side, I actually can. So what I did is I backed out of all the Abyss stuff that I was in and pushed over into Einhar, because I'm looking for Tainted Pact and or Ashes of the Stars. Ashes of the Stars drops from the Eater of Worlds, so I want to do that fight. That's why I was working over that way. And then the Tainted Pact drops from other things. That's also the one that you can take this Ancient Orb and run on a amulet and try to convert it into a different one. So I'm trying to get that. So Karn has the regular early in-game build, which is basically what my Bone Shatter's sitting at now, and then he goes off into either Tainted Pact or Ashes of the Stars, probably depending on how much you want to spend for it. So I either need to grind the Eater or try to get the Tainted Pact. I've been trying to get the Tainted Pact, and I have some of the other stuff that he had for it. I just don't have Tainted Pact right now. So I'm kind of working on that. And my thinking was the whole thing that ties all this in is I was able to come off this way and pick up Einhar and then come down here and get these 2 Einhar wheels. I need one more point into something here, I think. I'm not sure which one of these. I think I want to run each one for a little bit because these look like they're all different kinds of creatures. There is some, where's he at? He is down here. Oh, so this wheel here, I just can't get to. It's a little too far out of the way. But the reason I wanted to go to him, and I keep forgetting Einhar exists, he actually gives you uniques. If you go into the menagerie and fight some of the creatures, there's a chance to get amulets from him, unique amulets. There's a chance to get unique, just different gear. There's a chance to convert one unique to another. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, I could get that because one of the other things that I need, that's actually over here, is I still need this Coward's Trial unique map. So I'm looking to get Tainted Pact or that map there from Einhar, and I could go do low level stuff in here, get some clear the maps off, get some currency. Juicing low level maps with my Bone Shatter build is great. It moves smooth, so I could go do that and work on getting some Einhar built up, get my Sulfite back up for going deeper into Delve, and I'm going to try to push down as far as I can in Delve. I'm going to try to get some Einhar beasts and try to see if I can get my uniques that way. I also want to really juice up the maps, go back to juicing up the tier 1, 2, 3 early maps, really early stuff, because I can really juice those up, get as much purple on there, and try to get Tainted Pact that way. Maybe I need to push it up into the yellow maps or even red maps. I could do that too and work on the Eater grind. So there's plenty of things to do. And I was kind of getting burned out a little bit on working on the Eater stuff because you got to go through so many fights to get to the Eater one and then so many more. You kind of want to just run a bunch of maps and maybe get the invite, I guess, maybe build up a few invites and then run several back to back. But at the same time, I think my Bone Shatter build needed to be a little better. Now that I've got a 6-link, it is better. So that Eater fight should go much quicker quicker than having to sit there as long as I have. So anyway, that is where we are today, and that will do it for this video. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.